Hello there, welcome to week 2. This week we are continuing our review or a little bit more of an in-depth look at grammar rules and mechanics. We're going to be looking at verb tenses, sentence structure, subject-verb agreement, all the things that make your writing, both here in the academic world and also in the workplace, that make it more polished, make you sound much better. Myself included, all of those things work to make a really good piece of writing. So we'll talk about the most common mistakes in the English grammar, and these are the types of things that will help you learn to avoid those on your own. We'll test what you've learned this week with a quiz over the grammar. So you want to make sure we're starting, as we do every single week, here with the interactive lecture. Once you get in here, there are the different topics, and then it'll also have the different activities. So if you see here on the left, we're talking about verb tense, sentence structure, subject-verb agreement, most common errors, and each of these have some different activities for you. Again, what's really nice is you can come back and view it more than once. When you are learning material, or as we're doing in this course, we're writing in the discussion about the material that we're learning. So it's really important to make sure that you're coming back to look at that. So I like how we have our lectures set up in this course because it's easy for students to come back and review it at any time. You can go back to previous weeks. If you want to go back to something we did in week 1, or something that you want to review, you can always do that. So I like that. It's very helpful. Of course, making sure that you're looking at your announcements each week. Let's see, I'm going to go back to content. In addition to the weekly lecture, of course, you have the option of looking at the document, which you can print out if you would like, or just sometimes people like to look at the document. Of course, every week we have a discussion post. This week we're looking at a couple different emails, and depending on where your last name lands in terms of the alphabet, you'll be writing about a certain letter. I just want to take this moment to remind you that everything that we do in this course is to help you become a strong college student and to help you in your career. So that goes without saying. Any type of academic dishonesty is only going to end up hurting you. I know students are very busy. Sometimes, feel like they don't have the confidence, so they want to either look for something on the internet or use many of the sites out there that are available to use AI to write your content. But I just want to remind you not to do that for several different reasons. One is it really is just hurting yourself because you're not getting this practice in with me being able to give you that feedback about your own true writing. The second thing is I've been doing this for quite a few years, so I know what typical college students' writing should look like. So if it's overly polished, it's going to be obvious. It's going to be obvious if you're doing it in the discussions to the rest of your classmates. The AI sites, while, they can do things very quickly, what they can't do is capture that natural voice. And there are some tendencies among the many sites that are out there to have like certain patterns that kind of give a telltale sign so that the rest of us know, like, oops, that sounds like somebody used an AI generator. So you don't want to do that, especially if you're doing that. Of course, here it's academic dishonesty, and that would mean you wouldn't earn credit for the course, and if it could continue, you could actually end up failing the course, which I don't want you to do. But in the workplace, it would be, kind of untrue to yourself, in the workplace as well, but also a little bit embarrassing. You wouldn't want somebody to notice that you're using AI to do your work. Okay, there's a time and place for AI, but this course isn't it, and neither are most of your workplace documents. So just to keep that in mind, if I see that, I will be contacting you, and I can't give you credit if you've used AI to write an assignment. So just keep that in mind. This one's always kind of a fun one because these emails are just not good. So I like reading your information that you provide, your own outlook. And that's the other thing that becomes pretty obvious if people start using AI, then it says almost kind of the same thing over and over again. So we want to, be true to yourself and get some, really some interesting feedback and have a really good discussion. The discussion is part of this course because it is an asynchronous course. If we were in a traditional college course, we would be meeting in person and we'd be having these discussions in person. So just keep in mind that this counts toward your credit hours of you earning that. So that's why there are parameters around how often you post and what you post, because that is part of earning your credit hours here. So the second assignment, we always have at least 2. There are a couple weeks where we have 3, but mostly it's 2. But of course, we always have the discussion board, and then the week 2 quiz is over the grammar lessons that are in the lecture, and then this is kind of a preview. This will be our biggest assignment that we have in this course, and it's a business writing assignment. And this is just a preview to get you to start thinking. There's nothing to turn in this week. But you can look at this assignment. I thought I already had it pulled up. Give me just a second. Let me pull it over here to my screen. So this will be due, your rough draft will be due at the end of week 4. But read through the course outcomes and read through the overview of this assignment. Essentially, you are going to be demonstrating your ability to write with proper grammar and mechanics and talking about this workplace scenario. Okay. So the different choices that you have are these prompts here. Okay, this is what I want to get to. So I want you to make sure that you are reading through all the requirements here. But the other thing that I want you to think about is you're going to choose one of these prompts and that you are completing an application for a management position in your field. So you want to put your best foot forward and describe an activity in your life, if either it's in the workplace or just some other kind of life activity that you have had that answer one of these prompts. Okay, so this is why it's super important. It becomes really obvious if somebody just copies and pastes this into an AI generator, and it'll generate an essay, but it's not going to have the heart or the natural voice of these scenarios. But also keep in mind that you don't want to pick a scenario that's like deeply, deeply personal, because this is a workplace situation where you are applying for a management position. So you want to make sure that you're not picking something that is, that may be a little bit too sensitive to talk about in that type of a situation. So, and then here's some outline template that you can follow to structure your essay. All right, so this is just a preview. We'll talk more about this when we get to that essay, to week 4. Let me close that out. So that is just a preview for you. And then you have your 2 assignments for this week, the discussion board and the quiz, and then previewing for week 4. So that's all we have for week 2. I look forward to seeing each of you in class this week.